I heard something about anime of the season. Bro, that's a bold statement for winter 2026. Insanely ambitious and bold statement. Do you understand how stacked winter 2026 is? You have some of the most highly anticipated shows dropping. You got Free Ren season 2. You got my most anticipated show. Call Me What You Want. JJK season 3. Then you have Hell's Paradise season 2. Shit, I don't even watch JoJo's, but I know their new season that they're dropping, the Steel Bull Run, super anticipated on that side, that fan base, right? But when I heard anime of the season, I had to see what everybody was talking about. The hype was real, the glaze was real, and I had to play detective to see if it was valid or not. Holy shit. I think, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I think I just watched one of the greatest first episodes in anime history. I think I just watched one of the greatest debut episodes in all of anime. And I know that's a tall statement. I know it. Because we have like great first episodes, some of the greatest of all time. Like off the top of my head, The Promised Neverland, episode 1, goated first episode. Erased, episode 1, goated first episode. Death Note episode 1, goated first episode. And then you have the GOAT. My personal, call it cliche, call it whatever the fuck you want to call it. My personal S tier first episode of all time. Come on, I'm not trying to be, I already told you, I'm not trying to be cliche, but I'm pretty sure you know what I'm about to say. The greatest intro episode of any anime series in history is Attack on Titan, the first episode. Holy fuck, that episode was the best. I think Sentenced to Be a Hero might be right behind Attack on Titan intro episode. It might be the second best intro episode of all time. And I'm not just saying that. Or maybe I am. I don't know. Recency bias is a thing. I hope it's not the recency bias speaking through me and spewing through me. But holy fuck, I just watched it like, what, an hour ago? Let's make hour-long debuts the new norm. Let's make hour-long episodes when an anime first drops on a debut episode, their first episode of all time. I think 1 hour is like the sweet zone. That's like the perfect zone. I think that should be the new norm. I'm gonna just be real. The animation, holy bro. The animation is some of the best animation that I've seen in a show, period. The animation was like borderline movie level, bro. Like, I'm not playing. The animation was borderline movie level. Like, and I don't say that lightly. Like Reze Arc was probably the best thing I've seen in 2025, right? Like, I'm talking about a notch or two below like Reze Arc. Like, it felt very movie quality, if that makes sense. And the choreography, I'm not gonna lie, that shit went hard, bro. Like, that shit went hard. The choreography of the whole episode's very action-packed, super action-heavy. It is what it is. It's super action-heavy, and for the first, 3/4 of it, bro, the fighting scenes, the action, the choreography, the way everything's laid out, it just is beautiful, bro. The animators cooked when they did this shit. They cooked. Oh my God, they cooked, bro. I'm gonna just say this. Xylo, is he a likable character? I don't know. He's not. I don't think he's fleshed out enough. But one episode isn't enough to tell. But here's the best way I could put it. Xylo is if you combine an Aki type character. If you combine Aki with Guts. If you combine these two characters, I think you get a Xylo. Because his vibe is very much like Guts. But if Guts was in his 20s trying to be a cool guy. Bro, the world building of Sentenced to Be a Hero, it's cool, right? Because heroes aren't looked at as like people you venerate. They're not superheroes. They're not like a Spider-Man. They're not like a Goku where people are like, oh my God, you're him. On the contrary, bro, heroes are hated because at one point heroes commit a crime, or they do something so heinous, so blasphemous, so despicable that they're not even allowed to die. They're not even allowed to die for their crimes. They're not given the honor of dying and just like passing away. They're cursed to constantly resurrect, go on missions, go on hero missions, save people, etc. And if they die on a mission, they just resurrect and do it all over again. Simultaneously, they're treated like the scum of the earth. So much so that in this first episode, we have, the good guys, right? They're called the Holy Knights, right? They're getting wrecked by fairies. Fairies is just another way to say demons. They're called fairies in the show, but they're just demons, right? The Holy Knights are getting wrecked by fairies, right? Getting wrecked bad. Xylo's on a mission where he needs to save the cavalry, essentially. So if more than 50% of the soldiers die, Xylo fails his mission. And if he fails his mission, he'll be sentenced to death. But like I said before, he's a hero, right? So when being sentenced as a hero, you never truly die. You're just like, you go out on missions, regurgitate, die, regurgitate, die, regurgitate, die, resurrect, die, go back into the thick of it and keep fighting. But here's the reason why Xylo can't fail a mission, right? Because when you are sentenced to die, you lose part of your identity and you lose part of your memory. And then you're resurrected again. So that whole cycle repeats itself until you're just like a shell of a person where you have no identity and no memory. Xylo has never died, and he doesn't plan on ever dying or failing a mission, because he needs to keep his memory intact and his identity intact for a reason that I'm about to get into, right? We're about to get into why. So he saves the day, right? We'll get to the reason, right? But back to the point that I was making about heroes and how they're seen in society, right? They save the day. Xylo saves the day. He saves everybody's ass. Bro comes in insane with it. And then after that, everyone's like, "You're a hero? You disgust me. You piece of shit. Ugh." And then they tried, like, this one guy tries to act like he goes too hard and pull a knife on Xylo. Like, bro, didn't you just see him kill all these fairies? What do you think he's going to do to you? What? Then we have Teorita, which sounds like a Pokemon character, but she's not. She's a weapon, right? Teorita is a goddess. And essentially, like, not that I can't decipher the lore, because she's a person. She's like a goddess and has like a humanoid figure. But again, it's like, she's a weapon. So she's a weapon / person. Or she's used as a weapon when she like bonds to her knight, right? So Teorita's awoken, and then she immediately assumes that Xylo is her knight, right? I don't think about like a goddess as like an alt power, like a super ultimate. Like, when you have your abilities charged up, it's your ultimate ability. Like, but we'll get there. We'll get there. So she wants to bond with Xylo, but Xylo's not having it. Bro's like, "Nah, bro, like I can't fuck with you. I hate goddesses, bro. I'll never be cool with a goddess ever again. Goddess is my ops. I'll never trust one of you ever again." And then, as the viewer, you're just like, what is his backstory? What kind of history does he have with a goddess? I don't know. We'll get there when we get there, though. So the shit continues to play out. Point is, the demon, so there's another platoon, right? Another platoon. They're about to get wrecked heavy by a demon overlord. Again, I don't know why some are called demons, why some are called fairies, but just know the underlings are fairies, but they're like the real head honchos. Bros are demon lords, right? So they're about to get wrecked by a demon lord. They're getting overwhelmed, overturned. Bros are getting wrecked bad. Then there's a huge zap. And then there's a moment where Xylo is very adamant against pacting with Teorita. He's like, "Nah, bro, I'm not having it. I won't do it," right? He's very against it. But then they're getting overwhelmed so heavy that it's pretty much like, you know how animes are. You know how they are. It's like, it's pretty much pronounced like, "Yo, if you don't do this, everybody's gonna die." And boom, there they packed. They do a little blood pack ritual, and then they become bonded. They become packed. Teorita is now Xylo's goddess, and Xylo is now Teorita's knight. And then they drop the alt real quick. They drop Teorita's ultimate ability. They've been charging it up the whole episode. Then they drop that alt ability. Blades start falling out of the sky. Mind you, beautiful animation. Blades start falling out of the sky. You know, he's using explosive blades to wreck the Demon Lord. One thing leads to another. Boom. Saves the day again. Saves the day again, right? And then the commander was like, I fucking hate you. You're scum. You're a hero, aren't you? You're a hero, aren't you? I hate you. You're scum. And not only that, but you manipulated the goddess. You tricked her to pack with you. She should have never packed with you. You're a hero. You're scum of the earth. I hate you. Oh, you think you saved us? You think we owe you anything? No, we fucking hate you. And you manipulated, you gaslit, you tricked this goddess. Damn. You're a criminal. Oh shit, you're already a criminal. You're just horrible. I hate you. It's just like that's how these bro just saved everybody. Imagine that. Imagine you save somebody's life. Car accident, you whip them out before the car explodes. And right, you see the car explode in the background, you just save somebody out of their final destination, and they look at you and they're like, I fucking hate you. You disgust me. It's like, damn, bitch, I should have let you die. You know, up until this point, I was like, the animation's good, the story's good, the character design is cool. Like I'm fucking with it. The choreography's really good. Like everything's like, I'm sold, right? But I'm like, anime of the season, like, come on, stop it. Like, is this a really great intro episode? Yeah, the same way like JJK's episode was a really good intro episode. Or Chainsaw Man's first episode was a really good episode. Like it wasn't on that tier. But then they dropped the lore bomb. Holy fuck. Then they dropped the lore bomb. They're like, and mind you, I've spoiled everything up to here. So like, obviously we're spoiling shit. Like I don't even have to tell you. You should already know. The commander is telling Teorita like, yo, this guy's a horrible person. He's a criminal. Like he's a horrible person. He's like the worst. And Teorita's like, yeah, but that's my guy, though. Like, that's my knight. Like, I'm rocking with him. He's rocking with me. We're too locked in. Domain expansion. We're too locked in. But she's like, are you sure? What if I told you what crime he committed? Would you be locked in then? Teorita's like, wide-eyed. She's like, he killed the previous goddess he was pacted to. Holy fuck. I swear to God, I didn't have popcorn. But if I had popcorn, that shit would have flung everywhere. I swear to God, I did not have popcorn, but if I had popcorn, that shit would have been thrown all over the place. Popcorn bucket in the sky. I'm like, really? And then, you know, we go to a flashback, and then we realize, oh my God, the story's more comprehensive, more complex than we thought. Because then we find out Xylo was formerly a commander for the Holy Knights. Not only that, but he was pacted to another goddess. And then they have him at a court hearing, right? Like a old-timey Game of Thrones, like fantasy type court hearing proceedings type thing. And then it's revealed as to why he killed the goddess, right? Bro delivered a mercy kill, samurai kill. Why? Because she was overwhelmed. She used her power to the maximum capability. And when goddesses use their powers to the max without like letting their ultimate cool down, without letting their alt cool down, and they just keep using it. They keep spamming the alt power, that alt ability over and over, and they don't allow any cooldown. They get really weak, and they start to like disintegrate, and they start to like wither. And while they're withering, the blight is starting to corrupt their being. The blight is like a demon infection that's just in the aura. It's just in the space. It's just like exists in the world, right? So by her like withering away and getting weak, the blight starts to infect her body. So she, in a matter of moments, because once the blight affects you, you essentially become possessed and a fairy or under like demon control, right? So there's a clear understanding that like if the blight takes over her body, the demons are going to have full access to that same alt ability that wrecks them. So he's like, holy fuck. If you get overtaken by the blight, not only are the OP demons like super OP, Not only that, but they're gonna have access to the power of a goddess. That's our only weapon defense. So they kind of they have a mutual understanding to be like, yo, I'm gonna have to kill you. That way you don't get possessed by the demons and go under their control. And then the judge is like, no, I don't want to hear that shit. And everyone in the courtroom's like looking around like, yo, is he telling the truth? Oh my God. Like, what? Is that actually a thing? And then you hear the bitch ass voices, oh, blasphemy. And like you're cap, you're bullshit, ass. We don't believe you, tomato. And then it all clicks in his head that he was framed. This whole thing was an inside job. Bro was framed from the inside. This whole thing was a setup for him to go on this suicide mission. Either that or for him to commit these crimes against his kingdom and therefore be viewed as a criminal and sentenced as a hero either way. They really plotted on this man's downfall. And when it clicks, he's like, yeah, I'm going to be sentenced as a hero. But are you ready? This is the real. But I cannot die under any means. By any means necessary, I cannot die. Because I can't forget my memories and I can't forget my identity. Why? Because I'm coming back harder than ever. I'm gonna kill all you motherfuckers who did this to me. And then the show ends. And then the show ends, chat. Holy fuck. So with that being said, personally, if Attack on Titan is a 10 for a debut episode, Sentence to Be a Hero is a 9.5. That's really how I feel. As far as best anime of the season, we'll see. I don't know, but it's definitely in the conversation now. And if you're excited to see what I talk about next, tune in next week on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.